What's good? It's a boy dude reviews, and I just pretty much watched Wolf Children, a 2012 Japanese anime film directed and co-written by Mamoru Hosoda, and I watched it in the English dubbed, and the cast starred Cotton Clickenbird, who you probably well know for the voices as Monkey D. Luffy from the English dubbing of One Piece, and Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail, and David Mataranga, Jack Saxon, and so many other voices and do's and do-that's. But what is this film really all about? Well, Hana, this 18, 19-year-old college student, marries a man who's a wolf and raises her two children alone after the dude suddenly dies. They move to the countryside and the children have adventures in the woods and at school, and the two of them start to discover who they want to be as grown-ups. And yeah, and the film was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, written by Takuto Okudera, and obviously the story is done by Mamoru Hosoda. And to create the film, director Hosoda established Studio Chizu, which co-produced the film with Madhouse. Yoshimiki Sadamoto, the character designer of Nadia the Secret of Blue Water and Neon Genesis Evangelion, designed characters for the film. And there are some characters that do remind me of the Neon Genesis characters, particularly this old man character. The film had its world premiere in Paris on June 25th, 2012, and then theatrical release on July 21st, 2012, which is quite odd to think that another country released this film first before the origin country of Japan. The film was licensed by Funimation Entertainment in North America and released on DVD and Blu-ray on November 23rd, 2013. It was then screened in the UK at the end of October 2013, and yeah, so far this film has received a lot of praise, and it was second highest grossing film in the Japanese box office, beating Pixar's Brave, which debuted in Japan on the same weekend. It managed to make 55 million at the box office. But what do I think about this film? Well, let's talk about the good. And obviously this film has this weird whimsical flair to it. It kind of reminds me a lot of The Wind Rises meets Ponyo in a way. For some reason, it's like if those two kind of merged together and were one film. I just love the way the wolf children grow up and how the two characters, Yuki and Amu, like the dude obviously wants to be more living in the human world, but the girl wants to live more as a wolf. But as they grow up, they kind of start switching roles and places, and they kind of want to do different things. And you have this poor woman, Hana, who's just this ordinary human woman who got with this wolf man, had these kids, and you feel so bad for her. She can't tell anyone about what's happened to her kids. She's worrying that society are going to really do some weird experiments on her kids and all that, so she has to do all the research herself. She has to be the one to sacrifice her college life, her life in the city, to go into the just to move far away from the city and from prying eyes. And yeah, it's really extreme. I really do like how the children adapt to the world. It's particularly the girl Yuki, how she's trying to adapt into school life, but also she's trying to repress being a wolf. And there's this incident with her with a boy, and it gets a bit dark at times. There's a lot of these moments where the mother Hana, you really feel for her, and I feel like the audience we're seeing this whole situation through her eyes in a way, and you just kind of feel bad in a way. And as she's moving to another country, people are kind of putting her down, saying that she's just a city girl who doesn't know anything about country life and all that lot. And yeah, this animation also has a lot of very Disney-esque moments. And not just that, but if you've watched the movie The Snowman by Channel 4 from the 80s, there's a lot of those moments where the wolves are running across the snow, and the snows are kind of falling, and just the way the music kind of syncs with the snow, and how the wolves are running around, chasing each other, having fun. I did get a lot of the snowman, Raymond Bridges snowman. If you've seen that, it's it reminds me a lot of that, and it does have a lot of, like, again, Miyazaki elements with like the characters and how they interact. I will admit this, in terms of my mixed aspects, I didn't really like the first 20th minutes with the woman with the man, because the moment he turned into the wolf, I was like, oh no, is this some sort of weird furry fetish fantasy film? And I was not really feeling it. It felt like this really corny romantic film. There was a lot of things I didn't really get, like, I understand why Hana was so obsessed with this guy she never met before, and yeah, she was very persistent with him, wanted to get to know him and all that. I don't know, it just seemed a little bit forced, like the story required this character to force herself to interact with this guy. It didn't feel natural, it felt very, very movie-like, and I guess that's what it is. It is a movie after all. It's fantasy, it's not real, it's not real life and all that. But yeah, apart from that, this film's pretty emotional. It's a roller coaster of a ride. It's not action packed, it's just more of a somber film. It's more of a drama in a way than anything else. Bit of romance in the beginning, but then turns into more of a drama, kind of a coming of age drama for these two kids in a way, growing up. And then you got Amo, this dude who's just, at first he's this really soft boy, he doesn't want to be a wolf, but then there's an incident that happens in the film that makes him want to be a wolf and wants him to understand the world a little bit more. And there's a lot of like tension between him and Yuki and Hana, and like a lot of things happen. And initially, when I first saw this film in the poster, I thought this film was set in like the 16 or 1700s, and it was about this woman who, in society, she's got these wolves, and I thought like it was going to be that typical film where the people in her clan or something like that discover that her children are wolves and they're going to chase them away and all that lot. It would have been a really exciting film if it was something like that, but I was so stunned to find out it was set in modern times. Like, I didn't really see that one coming, but I think it works for the story and the nature of this film. I feel like in terms of the voice acting, Colin Clickenberg was definitely the main star of this film, and even like the kids, the two voice actresses who voiced the two children, like I thought they did a really good job, but I didn't know this was Colin Clickenberg at all until I saw the end credits. And then when I thought about it, there were a lot of like moments where she did sound like Urza and a little bit of Luffy, especially when she screams, like you can tell that's Urza in a way. But man, the English dubbing was so good. It was really phenomenal. It was great. Again, there were some little cringy moments with the kids in terms of the acting, but again, kids are meant to be cringy. Like, kids do some weird awkward stuff, they say weird awkward things, so I think it was kind of accurate. And yeah, the thing that I preferred about watching English dubbing is that I know it's the whole thing with like not reading the subtitles at the bottom, but it really does help because your eyes are able to really absorb the picture and what's happening. There's a lot of moments where there's a lot of like little details like you can't see if you see subtitles flashing at you all the time, but I mean, you can watch it either way, to be honest with you. Another negative that I didn't like is that the boy, Amo, as he gets older, like round about when he's about 9 or 10 years old, his voice is super deep. Like, I'm not talking about like when he's how a 11 or 12-year-old sounds. I'm talking about how at least a 19-year-old or 20-year-old dude sounds. Like, you see this 9-year-old boy, he's so small, and he's just like talking like he's a 20-year-old man. It's so weird, it's so jarring. I don't know what it's like in the Japanese version, but the English dub, they really, I mean, the acting is good, but they really failed in that, place. I just didn't understand why his voice was so deep. It didn't have to be that deep. I mean, I know he was going through puberty, but 10 years old, like, that's a bit young. Damn. But yeah, thank you for watching this review. Please like and share this video, comment down below and tell me what's your favorite film by this director. With that said, thank you for watching, subscribe, and as always, Avoided Review signing out.